Johnny Isakson is a member of the Finance Committee. He joins us from Atlanta. And Senator, thank you for being with us this morning.
Glad to be with you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We just made it through the fiscal cliff situation. I know that this is a bill you voted for, but you didn't like. Why did you vote for it?
Well, I voted for it because it gave certainty to American business, small business, and families on what taxes would be. It made them permanent for everybody except those at $400,000 and $450,000 for a couple. It's good policy to make your tax policy permanent so there's not uncertainty every year as to what it's going to be the next year. That was the good part. The bad part, it was done behind closed doors between just a very few people when the issue should have been debated before the American people. That, I'm sure, will happen on the debt ceiling.
The president has said he will not negotiate on the debt ceiling, but we also have the sequester that's come down the road. What do you think that these talks are going to start to look like?
Well, you have three cliffs coming in the month of March. You have the sequester, you have the debt ceiling, and you have the continuing resolution, which I think ends sometime towards the end of March. So we've got three major decisions to make, all economic, all on fiscal policy. The president can fold his arms all he wants to and say he's not going to negotiate, but in fact it's time we made permanent decisions on policy that begin to amortize and reduce our debt over time, make our spending done on a cost-benefit analysis, and stop the business of continuing resolutions.
Senator, I know you are someone who has worked, reached across the aisle to make sure that you are working on a bipartisan way. When we've spoken with Republicans recently, though, they have talked an awful lot about how they think that they're going to be getting spending cuts in these talks. When we've spoken with Democrats, they say they think they're going to be getting more revenue through closing loopholes or something else like that. It seems like an awfully big gap between the two sides. Where is there some sort of common ground between the two?
Well, in the bill we just did, we dealt with the revenue side. It's time we started dealing with the spending side, and we need to deal with the entitlement side as well. The big piece of this puzzle is to get our arms around entitlements and the rapid growth of Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. Make sure that we preserve them for generations to come, but in a way that they can be preserved, not in a way where they're going to go bankrupt. I think the real key, there are a lot of Democrats who want to work on Social Security and Medicare also. Some say no, they won't do it, but most realize that's where the sweet spot is, that's where we can really fix a lot of our problems, and that's what we need to do.
But Senator, it's one thing to say those things, and when you ask elected officials, they all tend to agree that yes, we need to do something to strengthen Medicare and make sure that Social Security is there for future generations. How they get there, very different plans, very different paths. And I guess what I wonder is not what is your ideal and what you would do if you could change things all on your own without asking anyone else, but what do you think is realistic, something that both sides might actually be able to agree with that you think would help strengthen those programs?
Well, Social Security is the easy of the two, I can tell you that. In fact, in 1983, when I was 39, Ronald Reagan changed my eligibility for Social Security from age 65 to age 66. We need to do the same type thing, and that's recalibrate based on longevity and life cycle, et cetera. Social Security eligibility for my children and grandchildren should be moved further out to 68 and then later to 69 and possibly even by age 70, way down the line. COLAs should be looked at. Change CPI makes a lot of difference in terms of the cost impact actuarially in terms of Social Security. There's no question Medicare is the real difficult one. It's the 800-pound gorilla in the living room. Paul Ryan was on the right track in my judgment. I think premium support is something where you can control the government's cost. Fee-for-service reimbursement for Medicare like we have today runs rampant and has run rampant. It's got to be adjusted. It's got to be fixed, or else Medicare is not going to be sustainable.
But Senator, maybe there's a perception that, the president got his revenues, now we got to work on spending, but just listening to some of his comments are that if we are going to talk about spending, we're going to continue to make sure it's not on the backs of the people that need these things. It's going to be done in a balanced way. He's setting himself up for trying to get the rest of the revenue that he wanted, because $600 billion is not what he wanted. You know how much he wanted. I think he wanted, what did he start at, 1.8 or 1.6, and even people thought
1.6.
Yeah, 1.6. He's going to need at least 1.2. So he's going to be there to agree to ending spending. He's going to want another $600 billion, don't you think? Or do you not think that he's going to again be insisting on higher revenue again before to agree on any spending cuts?
No, I think the president wants more revenue, and I think he wants it the easy way in terms of taxation. But the easy way, the right way to do it is to reform the tax code to empower business and small business investment so revenues go up because
he's
of
not going to roll
prosperity,
over,
not
though.
because of tax rates.
He's not going to roll over.
No, he's not going to. He's not going to roll over, but we're not going to roll over either.
Really?
No.
Oh, it's going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly then, right?
Well, it was ugly up until on the fiscal cliff. It's going to be ugly again.
8
but
weeks.
It's going to have to be
we got
ugly.
8 weeks. Should we, we should relax for about 8 weeks and then get ready to get ugly again, right?
I don't think you relax for 8 weeks. I think you got about 2 weeks to relax, and then we're going to start warming up for the main event.
For the main event. Oh, man.
Senator, is this a situation, though, we've talked to several senators who think that this is going to be much uglier this time around, but will you hold it up on the debt ceiling, or will it be something that you say, okay, we're going to deal with the sequester talks? Because there are plenty of people who say that this past fiscal cliff was not the real issue. The real issue is the debt ceiling, and if we fail to pay the bills that we've already run up, that will change potentially borrowing costs for Americans for years and years to come, and that is a concern.
Well, the big breakthrough needs to be first and foremost on the sequester. You know, sequester was put up as a poison pill last August so the super committee could find the $1.2 trillion in cuts. They took a pass and didn't do it, so sequester came in. Now we're facing the music. We need to appropriate. We need to make those decisions, not by automatic cross-the-board cuts, but by cost-benefit analysis and appropriation. The sequester is going to be the big battle. The debt ceiling is also huge, and the president wants an automatic credit card. He's not going to get it from the Congress.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thanks to Bob and Dave.